I don't think most churches have any idea how to grow. In fact, I think most pastors and church leaders don't want their churches to grow. It will mean a whole lot more work. It will cost more money. It's easier to just keep the status quo. Everyone will be happier. But if you actually believe Jesus wants to make more disciples and that your church could grow, then stick around and I'll tell you how to do it. It's easier than you think. Welcome to Coffee with Coach. My name is Steve Petty, and I have 3 goals for these videos to help you become a better church leader, to save you time and money, to help educate, energize, and motivate you to energize and motivate your church. How many ads do you see every day? How many ads that try to get you to do something, to buy something, to feel some way? Probably hundreds, maybe even thousands, definitely more every day. Heck, I get a zillion emails every day from people I never even heard of. With all those clever companies yelling in your ears, assaulting your eyes, bothering your computer, filling your email, pulling your attention, where is your church's message? If your church isn't out there competing for people's attention, you are deciding to decline. I think most churches actually have decided to decline tacitly. That means they haven't really decided, but they haven't decided to grow. So the result is they decline. Give you an example. Newton's first law of physics. A body at rest or in motion tends to stay that way until acted upon by an outside force. So if your church is static, it'll stay that way. Only it actually won't. Most people, most churches and pastors included, think that if they do nothing, nothing will change, and that everything will continue exactly as it has been. Status quo. They forget that last part. Acted on by an outside force. There are forces working against every organization. In a typical church year, a church may lose 5 to 10% of its attendance due to people moving, people dying, people becoming old and unable to transport themselves. Those are outside forces. They chew away at your attendance, at your membership every year. If you are not planning to grow 5 to 10%, then in fact, you are planning to decline by 5 to 10% every year. So do nothing. And you will realize, not just nothing, you will realize that your organization will decline slowly over time. Now, it is possible, even in this environment, even coming out of pandemic, that a church can grow 5 to 10% every year. It can manage to maintain its size and ministry. But growing 5 to 10% will only maintain your size and energy. To actually grow, you must increase your new members by more than you decrease your decline. That will take energy, effort, and it must be sustained over a long period of time. To do that, you need a plan. So, have I got a plan for you? Here's a simple plan to change that. A very simple plan. First, form an invitation task force. That's right, just invitation. At least 3 people. Decide one group of people that you want to invite most this year. Only target 1 per year. That could be age, marital status, family size, neighborhoods. Target them. Say, this group. We want to target this group. Be small, be specific. A tight little group. Secondly, put programs in place that will be attractive to that group. This is a critical phase. Don't go advertising your church to that group before you have something for them to find there. If you don't have any programs that really target that group, that minister to them, that offer something to them, there's a reason that they should come and keep attending, then they will come, but they won't come back. There's nothing for them. So put those programs in place. That will be hard at first because you don't have a lot of people that are eager to do that, but maybe you do. We'll talk about that later. So put the programs in place. If you want to attract families with nursery children, you'd better clean up the nursery. You want to attract families with youth group, you'd better have a good youth lounge and a good youth leader. If you want to attract seniors, then you'd better have an active seniors program. Look at the programming that you have for that target group and put better programming in place. Then, pick a communication method designed to reach that target group. Is that a group that communicates primarily by snail mail, by email, by text messaging? How do they get communications and what do they read and what do they pay attention to? Find that methodology for that group. Probably there's only one for the specific targeted group that you have. Then, commit to programs and invitations for at least 1 year. You've now got programs, so you're going to invite them to those programs. Not to church on Sunday mornings, to those programs. What have you got going now that really targets that age group? You want to get them in the building and see that they can be ministered to by these new programs you have in place. They're going to find them exciting. They're going to find that they target them well. They're going to find that they're meaningful for them and beneficial to their family in many, many ways. So do that. It'll take you about a year. At the end of the year, evaluate the results. How did you do? What do you want to do next year? Do you want to keep targeting that group? Or maybe you pick another group. If you've done really, really well, maybe you can pick a group that's a little bit harder. Now you may be thinking, Steve, I just don't understand how that works. Who would we target? What would we do? Let me give you 3 very specific examples. First, target people who look like your people. If your congregation is mostly white, middle class, 65 and older, and live within 5 miles of your church, okay, you're average. But target that group. Target those people who are in that class who are not currently in your church. Now, there's some real advantages to doing that. You're going to pick people who look like you. New people coming in the door will find a congregation of people that looks like them. It's going to be easier for them to find friends, make new friends. Maybe they might even find that some of their friends are already there. That's a good thing. The congregation looks like them. They're going to feel more at home. Low-hanging fruit. You already have programs in place that work with that group. That's why your people are coming. So when you're thinking about programs, you can just improve some of the programs you've got. But that means that the programs that you're coming up with will also minister to your existing congregation, as well as the new people who are coming in the door. There's little disruption to existing programs because you're targeting the same age groups. Second idea, target the neighborhood. Be very specific. Say, let's just target the people who live within a 3-block radius of our church. 3 blocks, that's all. Now, that might be 100 homes, it might be 50 homes, it might be a dozen homes. Target a specific geographical area right around your church. These are people who could probably walk to church if they wanted to. People who know where your church is. So why should you target that group? Well, as I said, these are people who know where you are, and it's easy for them to get to your church. They don't have to find you. They don't have to Google you. They don't have to look at maps. They just know that they can come down to the corner and there's something happening for them. It's easy. It takes no time at all. They will find it easy to access your programs. If you've got a program on Wednesday night, well, it's easy to get there on Wednesday night. Saturday afternoon, we got a program Saturday afternoon. Come on down. So you've got programs for people in your neighborhood. You target them. You invite them. This is a neighborhood-friendly thing. They're going to come. They're going to find neighbors who are already there. It's going to be easy for them to do that. And the next year, you can expand it by another block. Move out. Third, target the largest growing population in your area. Do a demographic study and pick the fastest growing demographic group. So maybe you find that the fastest growing demographic group in your neighborhood are families with preschool children. This would be a very young neighborhood. So once you discover that, then advance that idea 5 years. You're not actually going to come up with great preschool programs. You're thinking about what are the programs that they would want for young elementary children. So advance that program for a few years and develop your programs around those young elementary children. These are children that are going to grow into your program. You will obviously have some that apply to preschoolers, but think in terms of where that population will be in 5 years. As they come, They will find, oh, this is something our children will be able to benefit from as they get older. So why do this? Well, it will be most productive in the long range. If you design your programs for now through 5 years, you will be able to keep those people in your program, and those people will grow because that demographic is growing. Secondly, you have a large pool of people to attract because that's a growing demographic area. So you have a lot more people in that area. That means you have a better chance of getting some of those people into your church. Thirdly, it will make it easier to track that demographic as it ages and add ministries to those needs. In 5 years, in 10 years, in 15 years, you can plan on that group coming through your church, and you know, oh, when we get to this point, we're going to have to add this kind of ministry. When we get to this point, we're going to have ministry for empty nesters because those kids are going to be going off to college. Think about your fastest demographic area and target to them. So there's 3 ideas, really easy. People who look like you, people in your neighborhood, people in a big block of people who live in your community. Those are 3 groups you could target. Don't do all 3. Just pick one. Say, this is the one. This is the one that we really, really want. And if you do that, and you target well, and you plan to do this over several years, your church will grow. It will. If you find these videos helpful, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. And if you have questions or comments, please consider adding them below or email me at steve@revstevep.com. Next week, I'm going to be talking about how to improve your pastor's preaching. You realize the congregation can actually improve the pastor's preaching? Wouldn't that be exciting? I've got some ideas for you next week on Coffee with Coach. See you then.